at 714.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Hank Aaron Stadium, the home of the Mobile BayBears and the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum. The Hank Aaron Museum came into existence back in 2008 when Bill Shanahan, the president of the Mobile BayBears, contacted Mr. Aaron and asked him about his childhood home and if he would mind if we relocated it here to Hank Aaron Stadium and converted it into a museum. Hank asked his mom, Miss Estella, and his brother and his sister, James and Alfreda, and the family gave us the blessing, and that began the journey that we're on today. The house, it took us 7 hours to move it from its location, which was 7 miles north of Hank Aaron Stadium. It took us 7 hours to move it those 7 miles. And the restoration process was 20 months in the process and got a tremendous amount of help from the Mobile Metro Home Builders Association. And they all volunteered time, labor, materials, and about 85% of this home was donated as far as the materials involved in getting it to the shape that it's in today. So we welcome you to the Hank and glad to have you here with us. The first room we walk into, it introduces you to BayBears baseball and Mobile Bears baseball. Baseball started in Mobile 125 years ago this year in 1887 as the Mobile Swamp Angels took the field for the very first time. They played at a place called Monroe Street Park, which as with most nice things in the city of Mobile, was destroyed by a hurricane in 1926. Later Hartwell Field was built, and Hartwell Field was the home of the Mobile Bears, which is outside of the BayBears the best known team in baseball history in Mobile. We also in the first room get introduced to the Aaron family and what brought them here to Mobile way back a long time ago in 1942. The original structure, the original house that Mr. Herbert, Hank's dad, built was 25 by 25, consisted basically of 3 rooms. Mr. Herbert was into recycling long before recycling was even known, because the Aaron family home was built through recycled materials. When Mr. Herbert would get off work, he would go around to houses that were being torn down or burned down, or going up and get a couple of pieces of wood here, some nails there, a couple of bricks, bring them back to the home site, and then the family would build the house. And that is the original structure that we see in 1942, was this 25 by 25. The first room off to the left is Miss Estella and Mr. Herbert's room. This was their bedroom. And the items in here are basically to give you a feel for Miss Estella and Mr. Herbert, what was important to them in their life. And basically that was family and faith. And those things were very much instilled into the Aaron kids to kind of get them through growing up in a segregated South and in Mobile, Alabama, and give them the tools that they needed to survive. Over on Mr. Herbert's side of the wall, you notice the briefcase. Hank gave that to his dad back in the late 50s, and with Mr. Herbert being an uneducated man and basically a day laborer, back in the late 50s, a briefcase was a sign of a status symbol. And so Mr. Herbert had a little more bounce to his step when he carried his briefcase. Often had nothing in it other than his lunch, but he carried it with him everywhere. The 2 signs that you see, those 2 signs were created by Hank and Tommy when they were 9 and 13 years old and were hanging over their bed when we got the house in 2008. Next room we enter is the kids' room. Like I said, 3 boys, 3 girls slept in this room. In this room we talk about the start of Hank's baseball playing days and the thing that really got him going. Hank loved baseball and listened to the Mobile Bears playing on the radio. But in 1948, in the spring of '48, the Mobile Bears, because we were a Brooklyn Dodgers affiliate, Jackie Robinson came to Mobile, and a 14-year-old Hank Aaron went to hear Jackie speak and was so filled with passion after hearing Jackie speak and what he was doing to not only help Hank personally as a young man trying to succeed in baseball, but what he was doing for African Americans throughout our country. And it was that love for Jackie and passion for Jackie that really propelled Hank to be the player that he is today. And as he says in his own words, he's still inspired by Jackie Robinson, and hardly a day goes by that he doesn't think about him. This room talks about the start of Hank's professional baseball career. Hank broke into the bigs in 1954. Hank won 4 Golden Gloves in his entire baseball career, 2 of which are on display. One is at Cooperstown, the National Baseball Hall of Fame, and the other is right here at the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum. Both of his silver sluggers that he won throughout his career are also on display here, along with his original Topps Chewing Gum baseball card contract. So as we enter the second phase of the house, the original structure, the 25 by 25, was built in 1942. This addition, the kitchen, the indoor bathroom, and what became the boys' room, was built in 1962. This was the boys' room. Hank, Tommy, and James all slept in this room, and kind of talks about the 3,000 hits and 500 home runs that Hank hit at that point in his career. And then you see Hank's 500th trophy, 500th home run trophy, as well as some of his MVP and All-Star Game memorabilia. We got a great idea from the fine folks at the Atlanta Braves Museum up in Turner Field. They had lockers, so we thought it was only appropriate that Hank Aaron Stadium and the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum have lockers. We featured one obviously for Mr. Aaron, but also one for his brother Tommy, who played 7 years in the major leagues. And all the items in here was donated by his widow, Miss Carolyn, who still lives here in Mobile. The back room, or the family room, was added in 1972. And this room primarily focuses on Hank's breaking of the home run record with home run 715. It's featured by our prized possession, a game-worn jersey and hat at the end of the 1973 season as Hank was closing in on the record. We follow Hank's career as he was traded back to Milwaukee to the Brewers, a trade that he requested because he wanted to end his career where he started it back with Milwaukee, and that began his friendship with the owner of the Brewers, Bud Selig. It also features the 1982 induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame for Mr. Aaron. And then we talk about the opening of Hank Aaron Stadium in 1997, as well as the dedication of the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum. 7 Baseball Hall of Famers, the largest collection of Hall of Famers south of Cooperstown. Hank Aaron, Reggie Jackson, Willie Mays, Mobile's own Ozzie Smith, Bruce Sutter, Rickey Henderson, and one of his last public appearances, Bob Feller. Commissioner Bud Selig was with us and actually had the painting commissioned that you see there featuring Miss Estella and Mr. Herbert, and was presented to us on the night of the dedication. On behalf of all of us here in Mobile, we want to thank the Smokies for this opportunity to give you a brief video tour of the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum. And if you guys, big Smokies fans, are ever in the Port City and on your way to vacation, please stop by Mobile. Tell us you said hello, tell us you're a Smokies fan, and we'll take care of you as you come in to visit the Hank Aaron Childhood Home and Museum. Thanks for stopping by.